Good morning. This is the Dallas Cameroon Football Club presenting to you the eighth biannual Mentorship and Professional Forum. My name is Francis Basebank. I'm the committee lead. We want to start by thanking Toride for inviting us to your studio so we can exchange these very good ideas with our community, not just in DFW or Texas, but we are having a live audience throughout the United States on Facebook Live. And we also have people who will be connecting from Europe and Africa. Once more, welcome. With me in the studio this morning is the president of the Cameroon Dallas Football Club, CAMDAL FC. We have Reverend Martin Osai of the Ghanaian Presbyterian Church in Irving. Miss JC Itambi will be one of our speakers. She's in the studio with us this morning. And we also have some members of the audience like Nadesh. So we want to thank you all, and we will be sharing a link so that those of you who are at home, you can log on. And after we introduce each speaker, we would like you, the audience, as much as possible to listen and follow. We want this to be interactive. So at the end of every conversation, we are going to give the opportunity to our audience, those in the studio and those online, to field in some questions. So at this time, I'm going to be introducing you to our president, Deus Nanko. We want to know, this is a Saturday morning. It's cold and people are all wrapped up and resting. What is really interesting about the Dallas Cameroon Football Club that we have to be here? I want to know what is the impact this group is having in the community.
Thank you, Dr. Francis. The impact that the group is having on the community has been felt since 2006. And that's where soccer brought us together. But the love for the community kept us together. And we, as you saying, yesterday it was below 30 degrees and we were there on the soccer field playing. And I was not even sure I would make it this morning here because in the middle of the night I started coughing and I was like, oh, we have something to present tomorrow. And we made the decision to play under this cold. But you know what the guys were saying is that we are warm. We are warm. And this is the same warmth that we are planning to take into the community to do more than just the soccer that brought us together. We want to impact the community with the services that we do and all the way that it can impact the rest of the African community in Dallas, in Texas, and in Cameroon, in Africa, and everywhere where we can impact the community, the world.
So, Mr. President, when I look at the mission and vision of CAMDAL FC, it says you want to enhance members' leadership skills, people skills, communication skills, health and wellness, while promoting service and involvement in the community.
Yes.
I'm really interested about that part that talks about service and involvement in the community. What are some of the concrete programs that CAMDAL has done in the community?
The most impactful that we have done in community is community service of our volunteer team, which is led by Gilbert. We have been working with the North Texas Food Bank, the Garland, Dallas communities, and with the North Texas Food Bank, we were able to package food for the needy. We work with the Habitat for Humanity to build homes for those who are not fortunate enough to have those big houses that we have out there. But we do a lot of other sporting activities, which falls into the health and wellness. You know, we do participate in veteran tournaments all over the U.S. with the veteran team. With the younger team, we participate in the Budweiser tournament and all the other tournaments. With the kids, we do what we call the annual kids summer camp, where we bring the kids on the soccer field for at least for a whole month of June or July. depending on when the weather is good. We teach them soccer skills, taking them away from their parent for a month, but also teaching them something that can help them in their life. And finally, membership, communication skill, and enhancement, leadership that brings us to what Dr. Francis is responsible for here, which is the biannual professional forum that we're doing here.
Yes, and talking about leadership, I think every time we talk about the mentorship and professional forum, I always want to recognize those who started this, like Pancreatus Moke. He was the lead, and he invited me to one of the presentations, and that is how I became involved in CAMDAL. And as a club, CAMDAL wants members, to have that self growth, but also to be good members within their family and have an impactful time in the community. We want a positive impact in the community. We don't want it just to be a place where people go and watch, do soccer, maybe take a few cups of drinks, but we want to make sure that every time the community hears about CAMDA, they're looking at an organization that cares about its members, an organization that cares about its community, an organization that is leaving something for posterity, like the kids camp.
Yes.
My kids have participated in that camp twice, and every time they look at their accolades on the wall, they are very, very impressed. So, Mr. President, thank you. Any other thoughts you want to share with us in this panel at this time?
No. You've said it all. Every time that your kids are looking at those accolades on the wall, they'll remember that. Is it time yet?
Well, yeah, and hopefully in July. And this is just an opportunity for us to tell the community, come July, we always have a kids camp. It runs for several weeks. We change the format from time to time, but essentially, we try to form the kids, not only to be healthy, but to start so that when they see their parents going out for soccer, they know they're going to do something to remain in good health. Okay. So hopefully in July, we are going to give you guys the program. So today we are having the 8th biannual professional and mentorship forum. And once more, ladies and gentlemen, our audience would like to thank Toride again for bringing us into his studio. Toride is having a great impact in this community. He's developing members, developing leadership skills, and I'm hoping that for those of you who are watching online, you can click on the like and share button and make sure the entire world know about the work Toride is doing in the community.
Indeed.
Once more, thank you, Toride. And I will use this opportunity at this time to start introducing one of our panel speakers, Reverend Martin Osai from the Ghanaian Presbyterian Church. I understand you are a university professor, a father, a husband, and you also are a member of the African think tank. I know there is a lot more you do. Would you like to tell us a bit about yourself?
Thank you very much, Dr. Francis, and welcome, and thank you for joining us, those of you who are connecting with us on Facebook and other social media platforms. My name is Reverend Martin Osai. I'm not quite a professor yet, but my younger brother became an associate professor in Ghana just yesterday. It was official. But I'm working on my doctorate in organizational leadership, and I'm looking at a research in the area of navigating the American school system, something that would be more like a guide for parents, in immigrant parents and families in particular, to look at how to navigate the American school system and take advantage of the various opportunities. But I'm a father of 5 children. My oldest just turned 21. The youngest is 13, originally from Ghana, West Africa. And I am an educator by training. I work with the Dallas Independent School District, and I have served in numerous capacities, including being a coach, a mentor, academic facilitator, classroom teacher, teacher of the year. I'm national board certified. For those of you who do not know about national board, it is the highest credential you can gain as a teacher in the United States. And I currently mentor other teachers who are going through that process. I actually just came here from a session with some of my candidates that are going through that program. I am a pastor of a local Ghanaian church. I have been leading that congregation for about 15 years now. We started with about 12 people in the living room, and we are about 100, a little over 100 people now, with a vibrant children and youth ministry. I also do life insurance. I'm a financial advisor and a licensed insurance agent in the state of Texas, and have been helping families to plan for their future, to put money aside for college for their children. And funeral policies especially has become very popular as more and more of us are bringing our parents here. I advise them, if anything should happen here, you know, it's going to be a burden. So there are funeral policies that are very cheap that families can plug into, so that if the unexpected happen, which it will happen one day, when that time happens, we are not scrambling around. And as we do in the African community, we are not all coming together, everybody making donations. Life insurance is so very important. So I'm passionate about things like that. I am also a STEM educator, so I'm very passionate about STEM education and careers that are careers of the future for our young people.
By STEM educate, what do you mean by STEM?
STEM is science, technology, engineering, and math. So there is now a huge movement over the last decade, channeling students and empowering students to go in STEM careers. It used to be that when we think about science, we think of some old scientists in the basement somewhere. But today, the world has changed. Music is science. Food, there is a lot of science in food, agriculture, and all these different areas. In fact, I was talking to a voice coach for my daughter, and it was amazing the technical language to even describe voice, that our voice have texture and all of that kind of stuff. So STEM careers are the careers of the future. They are the high paying jobs, and we want to channel our young people into those fields. So that's something I'm very passionate about. I'm always helping our community to find ways to send their students to college so they don't come out with college debts.
Now, talking about that, on August 12, 2023, yes, and that was at Udompom Park in Garland, you did a presentation, and I have the topic right there, scholarship philosophies and strategies. I've had many of my community members attest to me that the strategies you shared have actually helped them send their children to school on scholarship. So let me first of all start by thanking you for that.
You're welcome.
Yes.
And that gets better and better. I was in Oklahoma City a couple of weeks ago and shared the same thing. And there are some scholarships that channel our young people into Ivy League school. It's called Quest Bridge. Quest, Quest Bridge, BRIDGE. Quest Bridge. Quest Bridge will offer up to $200,000 for young people to go to an Ivy League school. And at their website, so all of our viewers, have your young people go and sign up at the website on Quest Bridge. It has a list of all the participating universities, and they give up to $200,000 for college. And these are Ivy League school, including Harvard, Yale, and all of that are on that list. So long as your family doesn't make more than about $65,000, your child definitely can get in. So that is a free one we want to throw out there today, that anyone who wants to take advantage of it, how your young people, if they are in sophomore, junior year, that's a good time for them to sign up at Quest Bridge and fill out their profile, and they will be matched with a college that fits their profile.
Again, if you are joining us online, this is the Dallas Cameroon Football Club, and we are live here at Torrido Studio. Our speaker here is Reverend Martin Osai. What's the topic you'll be presenting on today?
Today, I want to talk about guiding our youth into career pathways. Careers have changed over the years. It used not to be what it was. But I want to preface everything I'm going to say today by saying that we, the parents, are the ones who should be alongside our young people, guiding them through this process. Of course, we have the counselors at the school who help with, school choices and all that. But as a parent, you want to stand by your young person's side, be there, guide them, and lead them through this process. So I will be sharing today about some of that. I do want to also say that when I say parents, I'm not only talking about biological parents. There are a lot of adults in our community today who are responsible for young people. You have a football club. That is a huge influence place for young people where these coaches can be mentors for them and can be in their lives. We do have, in our community, single families where a mother is raising boys or raising their children. Those will be avenues, athletics and some of those extracurricular activities. Surround your children. If you're a single mother, hear me. Surround your children with mentors, especially our boys. Have men in the community who can support them and empower them and encourage them. Coaches are great in doing that. So if I say parent today, I'm not only meaning biological parents, but all of us in the community. We are the parents of our young people. Traditionally in the African culture, that's how it is. In my village, everybody is responsible for the children. It's not just the father of the child. I can equally correct my neighbor's child as I expect my neighbor to also correct my child when my child is doing the wrong thing out on the streets. So again, parents, all of us who are involved in young people's life, it is our responsibility to guide and lead them in selecting the right career pathways and choices with some expert support as well.
And I like when you, in the African system, we say that a child belongs to the mother or the parents only in the womb. Once the child is born, they are out there for the world. So I really like your approach in that aspect.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So I want to just go quickly into some of the thoughts that I want to share with you. My goal in this talk and this discussion is to find ways that we can better support our teenagers in their career journey. Also have a career conversation with our young people and know and understand the high five messages. I'll be sharing that shortly. And also learn about some useful career resources that are out there that they can tap into and understand the influential role that you as a parent and therefore, for that matter, the adults in our community, the important role that we play in becoming the career ally for our young people. So I want to start off by saying that all of us are concerned about our children's future. Absolutely. We live in a system today that if you are a parent and you are not concerned about the future of your children, then you need to wake up. There are so many things that are tugging and influencing them that we have to be there to guide them. And what concerns do even our young people have about their future and their choices that they want to make? How can we be there to provide the support they need? So how your future turns out is the support you have around you. The people who influence you, the people who pour into you. School is an important place, but community is also an important place where we are making impact. When you were 16 years old, as an adult now, I'm now talking to us as parents. When you were 16 years old, what did you want to pursue in life? Did we even think about what we wanted to pursue at age 16? What are we doing or plan to do for our future when we are 16? So think about your 16-year-old right now. Are they thinking about their future? I want to submit to you that is the prime time to start thinking about what they want to do. Once they are in high school, it is a time that they want to start thinking about the future that they want to have. H.B. Gallen describes positive uncertainty as the ability to recognize and accept that the future is uncertain. The future is uncertain. And at the same time, we need to be positive about even the uncertainties of the future. And more so, why we need to be very strategic and intentional in what careers we go into. In our homes, it should not be, are you going to go to college? It should be, what college are you going to go to? And does that college match your your passion, your desire, what makes you happy. You know, someone said, if you find what you love, you will never work a day. A lot of times in our community, unfortunately, we have pushed our young people into careers that they are not passionate about. In the typical African home, you have to be a doctor, a lawyer, or this and that. We need to change our mindset about that. We need to start looking at, what is my child interested in? What are some of the things that come naturally for this child that can lead into a career for the child? You know, what are the things the child does very well, right? So we live in a changing world. Work in the old days is no longer what work is today. In the olden days, you could expect to stay in a job and retire, you know, in that job. But today, minimum, most young people, young adults today will change careers about 7 times. But when we were growing up and we saw our fathers, they work in the same company for, you know, forever. They retired, they gave them a wristwatch, a Rolex. I remember my dad got a Rolex watch when he retired from teaching, right? But that is not the world we live in anymore. We need to follow our hearts. We need to follow our hearts. We need to focus on the journey, how we are getting there. We need to use our network. That's why networking is so very important, you know, and then lifelong learning. You know, so in the olden days, you work in one place and retire there, or, you know, you were able to choose your job and you did that job, you know, for 30 years and you retired. You were able to change jobs easily, you know, but things have changed today. More and more young people are thinking about, what is in it for me? Flexibility. I see young adults in my church who almost every year they are in a new job, but then they are getting more money by moving to those new jobs. So our young people are more intentional in what they want to do, and we need to guide them along those lines. What is it that the child is passionate about? What is it that interests them? Some of the attributes that we want to instill in our young people is persistence. Persistence. You see, I have missed more than 9,000 shots in my career, Michael Jordan said. I have lost almost 300 games. 26 times I have been trusted to take the game-winning shot and missed. I have failed over and over again in my life, and this is why I succeed. We should not be afraid of failure. Failure is just that you have not succeeded yet. And we need to instill that resilience. You want to do something and you fail once, doesn't mean you cannot do it. If you go in a calculus class and that class is difficult, that doesn't mean you give up. A lot of our young people give up too soon, and we need to discourage that. They need to be persistent. They need to be resilient. They need to be entrepreneurial, enterprising. The best way to predict the future is to create it, Abraham Lincoln said. So we need to encourage our young people to create their own future. Drive is another thing. Desire. That the secret of every man's career, not education, not being born with talents, but it is desire. Desire. So we need to instill in them a desire to want to succeed. And the journey is not going to be an easy one. But as parents and as community, we come alongside and we support them and we guide them through the process. You can choose careers by, meeting a career coach face-to-face. Counselors are good. There are resources where you can plug in your data, your information, and it will show your interest. There is a website, it's called STEM Type. STEM Type. Okay. I think it should be stemtype.org. When you go in there and you fill out all the information, it tells you what kind of STEM career fits your profile. What STEM career fits your profile. Then you also have, talents and abilities. I have a daughter who sings. She loves to sing. She has the gift. She has the talent. She's been to Broadway 2 times for Broadway showcases. I'm supporting her in that direction. Last week, we had a Broadway coach, had a Zoom call. She's going to be coaching her with voice once every month. What am I doing as an African parent? I am not pushing her into career. I want her to be an astronaut. But if singing is what she wants to do, I want to make sure that I give her the support. I put her in a high school that is a performing arts school. She's in the jazz combo. They go out throughout the Metroplex to perform. So as adults, find out what they are passionate about and steer them into it. My daughter always wanted to be a doctor. So she went to a school that prepared her. Now she's at UT Arlington pursuing a nurse practitioner degree. You know, my son, older son, Emeka, wanted to be an actor. He also went to a performing arts school. Now he's at LSU as a junior. But I support him through that. I knew that acting is not an easy career to get into. But if that is what he's passionate about, that boy is soft-spoken and quiet. But when he's on stage, he's a different person. I look at him on stage and I don't recognize that's my son. But because I'm there to support him, when he got to college and decided to change his major, he called me and talked to me about it. So you don't want to just sit down and then your child says, well, you know, I changed my major and, you know, no conversation. So I asked him, why do you want to change? He said, Dad, you know, acting is my passion, but it is hard to get in that industry. But I love sports. I love statistics. I'm always following. I know all the data of all the NFL, you know, football teams. So I think if I go into sports administration, it's something I love and I'm passionate about, and I'll make that my major and make acting my minor. I still love acting. If the door opens, I will go in that. But if it doesn't open, I have a career that makes. I say, great. Son.
And I can attest to this because
You know?
I've met your kids
Yes.
and I see how industrious they are.
Yeah.
What surprises me is, as an African parent, as a pastor, I thought you would be preparing one of them to take over the church from you.
Yeah.
So I just like the
Yeah.
open-mindedness
Yeah.
right there. And
Yeah.
the examples you give for your family really resounds with most of what we want our African children to grow into.
Right.
So thank you for that.
You're welcome. Yeah. So talk to them. Find out what they are interested in. I mentioned the high five career development messages. Number one is change is constant. Our young people should not give up if things change along the way. Change is constant. Learning is ongoing. You never stop learning. As adults, I'm learning every day. There is an app now called Headway. Headway, you listen to a book, a whole book in 15 minutes. That's all I do now. I have it on my phone. I have about 30 books there. And when we are driving in the morning, we are listening to it. You know, How to Win Friends and Influence People, Think and Grow Rich. I have a list of books that I recommend to young people, and I'll send that to you, Dr. Francis, so you can share with the community.
We'll share with our audience.
Exactly. Yeah. There's about 48 books, and those are the best education. Education, some things they will not teach you in the classroom. You have to learn it yourself. Personal development, lifelong learning is where we are going to develop a lot of the talents and abilities we have. Follow your heart is number 4. So number 1, change is constant. Number 2, learning is ongoing. Number 3, focus on the journey, right? Number 4, follow your heart. And number 5, access your allies, networking, encouraging our young people to connect with other young people, to connect with. That is why the African Think Tank is such a platform that I'm excited about, because we are networking as Africans in the diaspora and looking at ways that we can empower each other, we can lift each other up, and also reach back and make a difference in our various countries.
Just to ask you a quick question, when is the next African Think Tank event?
African Think Tank meets the last Friday of every month, so it make it easy to remember, right? Just go to your calendar, the last Friday of every month. We will be meeting next week Friday, which is the last Friday of January. Now, we started here in Dallas. We are less than a year old. We have over 600 and something followers. We have over 800 people that have become affiliated and joined. We promote vendors. So at our meetings, vendors sign up to come. We spotlight our vendors. So like your clinic can be a vendor on a meeting, and we spotlight you. You come and talk about the clinic and whatever you do. We have some great caterers, African caterers in the community. We bring them to bring sampling of their food and talk about what they do. The other thing too that has been exciting is that we are not only in Dallas. This next Friday, there'll be a meeting in Dallas. There'll be a meeting in Atlanta. There'll be a meeting in Houston. There'll be a meeting in Charlotte, North Carolina. There'll be a meeting in the DC metro area. So we are growing so fast. And one of the things that we look at doing very quickly is to connect with all the 54 African country embassies in the United States.
That's
and
wonderful.
begin to have access to what is happening at each country and how we can begin as a think tank to look at how we can shape and change the narrative and provide jobs, investment opportunities to empower and improve the quality of life of our people.
And if you are just joining us, we are live here on Toride's studio here in Arlington. And the speaker speaking right now is Reverend Martin Osai. I want to use this opportunity to thank and welcome some of our audience members for driving all the way to come to the studio. And our president is still there with us. There is something you brought up in your conversation about career choices.
Yeah.
How do you address us as immigrants? We come here, some people have different professions.
Yeah.
The moment they come here, they only do what the person hosting them asks them to do. If the person is a CNA, then they will become a CNA. If the person works at Walmart, they want them to work at Walmart. What advice will you give in those situations?
I'm very glad you asked that question, and it's a very, very good question. I know people who came in, landed in New York. They became taxi drivers because the person they stayed with is a taxi driver, and they drove taxi till they died. But this country offers so much educational opportunities. Some of them don't even require a college degree to make a six-figure income. There are technical skills that people can get. There are IT skills that people can go and take maybe 2-3 month training and land themselves a very good job. So I encourage our community, when people come, don't just direct them to what you're doing. Find out what they are passionate about. Find out what they are interested in doing, and then look for the resources in the community for them. The resources are there. Everything can be done. Every career can be pursued. We just need to find out how to get in. How to put your foot in the door, how to get the right access, talking to the right people. So some of what we are talking about, even for the young people today, is applicable to those of us who are coming here. We already have our degree, but have to change direction. And I don't encourage you go pursue another 4 or 5 year degree. Find short-term courses that will land you into a career very, very quickly. The health industry is huge. There are a lot of skill sets there that require short-term training, and you specialize in an area. Many times we try to do a lot of things, but find a niche and specialize in that area. So follow your heart was my next point for our young people, and that applies to everybody. Follow your heart means what? What are the 3 things you like to do? Ask yourself, what 3 things do I like to do? Then number 2, how long is it since you did each of those 3 things? How long since you did those 3 things? Then does it cost money to do, or is it free? Those 3 things you love to do, does it cost money to do, or is it free? Then number 4, is it planned or spontaneous? Can you just do it spontaneously? Sometimes we have talents, we can do it spontaneous, but is it something you have to plan? Do you do it alone or with someone else? Does it involve your mind, your body, your spirit, or emotions, or a combination of any of these? So when you begin to really do a self introspect, like looking deep down, look inside you, what am I good at? What are the 3 things I can do well? And begin to analyze it that way. Very quickly, you are going to start finding opportunities of how you can leverage or go into an area and be able to shine in that area. Then when we talk about focus on the journey, though I'm going through those 5 things I mentioned earlier, right? Follow your heart is one of them. Focus on the journey. Don't focus on one destination only. Know what you want, but don't be too sure also give room that maybe it will not work. So what are my next plans? What is my plan B? Be open to changing your mind. Many times we set our mind, I'm going to be a CNA, and that's all we focus our mind on. We don't look at other, maybe radiology might be an area. Maybe air conditioning and refrigeration might be an area. Maybe even plumbing. These guys make money with all pipes that are bursting from the freeze. I have a plumber working in a friend's house as we speak. And the friend is in Ghana, so they send the money. I pay the plumber to go work today. So those people make money. It's not every career that requires a 4-year college degree. And we need to differentiate and know and guide our young people into what they naturally can flow in and do well. Recognize that your career journey will be throughout your lifetime. It's not just, it doesn't end. You are in that career. And these days, because of technology, every career you have to keep learning to stay on the cutting edge of your profession. Even as teachers, there is professional development all the time to stay on the cutting edge. When COVID hit, we all have to transition to how can we teach from home and still be able to impact students. Appreciate and value each experience along the way. So career is something you do for the rest of your life. Once you find the right path, you will be in it for a long time. So focus on the journey, follow your heart. Number 3, learning is ongoing. We never stop learning. Somebody said the day you stop learning, that's when you start dying. Where do you learn? Home, school, play. I talk about listening to audio, books. Condense a whole book. They just take the important points. And then I glean all of that because I just don't have the time to read as much as I used to read. But now, thank God for technology, somebody can read it to me. And while I'm out doing whatever I'm doing or driving or even in the shower, I take my phone to the shower now and put it on, a headway book. By the time I finish and dress up and I'm ready to go, I've listened to a whole book in 15 minutes. And it's changing my thinking, it's enriching my vocabulary, and I become interested when I go anywhere because I have something to say that is new, that is fresh, that is helping people.
But make sure your phone or Bluetooth is water resistant before you take to the bathroom.
That's right. Yes. And then how do we learn? By doing, reading, hearing. I'm glad even that is part of it. We need to hear, right? Singing, watching. What about informal learning? What is lifelong learning? That every day you are learning something. Every day build on your knowledge base. And for us as parents, as well as our children, now, because I play this in the car when I'm dropping my kids, my daughter said, can I get the app also? Without them realizing, I'm putting them in a space that they are learning. They are listening to it. She will used to listen to her music, but now she will put her headphone off when I put this on because she wants to hear some of the wisdom in what we are listening to. Learning is ongoing. Career information, find out information about what you are interested in. There's a lot of information out there and you just need to look for it.
Good morning.
And then next, access your allies. Who are the people doing what you want to do? Parents, I encourage you to find people doing the things your children want to do and connect them. If my child wants to become a physician, there are physicians in our community. During the summer months, let them go volunteer at that clinic or talk to that physician and say, can my son come and spend some time with you? Or my daughter come and, spend a day or two with you while they are home on vacation. So look for people who are already doing what either you want to do or your children want to do and expose them. When my daughter said she wanted to be a nurse, she wants to be a physician, but I want to go that route. I said, okay, let's connect you with the Ghana Nurses Association. And they have a mentoring program. They've been mentoring her since she was in high school. And she still is in contact with her mentor. Even her choice of classes, the mentor helped her to say, hey, these two classes, don't take them together. That is the beauty of relationships and mentoring. You can go take 2, 3, 4 classes that will stress you out, but they tell you how to even take your classes so you don't overwhelm yourself a semester. So that mentorship, and the CAMDAL, Dallas Football Club, those adults there, you all are mentors for these boys. Don't only play football. Ask them, what do you want to become? What is your career? Oh, you want to be a doctor? Dr. Francis is here. Let me introduce you to him. You want to be a lawyer? Oh, Dr. So-and-so is here. Or Brother So-and-so is an attorney. Let's have you meet him. Maybe you can go visit him at his office one day. Beginning to connect and network our young people with people who are doing what they want to do. Broaden your ideas for work and career paths. We want to encourage open-mindedness, right? Open-mindedness. I was talking to a group of young people, and they love to rap music. This was in one of our inner city schools. And I asked them, I said, do you all know about Spotify? They all knew about Spotify, right? They buy music there and listen to. And I said, do you know how much Spotify will pay you if you go and learn, do sound engineering? Fresh out of college, you are making a 6-figure income, $150,000. They open their mouth. I say, yeah, you love music? Channel that passion into a career. Become a sound technician, become a sound engineer, and still be passionate about your music, but somebody is paying you for what you love to do.
And I'm so glad we chose this topic, because when you look at the mission or statement of the CAMDAL FC, building leadership, and then you go now to look at why do we have the mentorship and professional forum, is to do what you are doing right now.
Yeah.
I know some members of our audience may be hoping to ask you questions. Some members right here may be hoping to ask. Once you wrap up, I'm going to ask them to ask a few questions.
Sounds good. Sounds good. So let's be open-minded. Let's discuss the passions that our young people have and where they could lead. Have time to talk about these things. Learning. We are always learning. The possibilities are endless. We also have to be flexible, right? We have to be flexible, exploring and researching information and finding out opportunities. Focus on the journey, skill and industries. Develop your skill. These days, we have skills that are not learned in school. Emotional intelligence is a whole field. How to interact with people, how to control your passions, how to be able to, manage your temperament and be successful in life. Those are all fields and areas. Being a good listener is very important. Give your full attention. Stop what you are doing. Don't interrupt. Let your teenagers speak. Stay as calm as you can. Listen for emotions. Give it time. When we make time to listen to them, they will tell us what is on their heart. African parents, we don't listen to our kids quite much. We want to train them to do this and to do that, and we want to train them the way we were trained, but we live in a different world. We need to offer some flexibility and listen to what they really want to do. And when we listen to them, we'll be able to then guide them through the process.
So, Reverend Osai, I'm really hoping to see you again on Friday during the African Think
Tank.
And I know for our audience members, if you also want to learn a bit about how to manage finance, life insurance, I want you to connect with us. We are going to connect you to Pastor Osai. Although he's a pastor, he's one of those pastors that is very open-minded, very educated. So we thank you for this presentation. I know you may have a little bit more to say, but I wanted to give the chance to one of the audience members right here. I know Elvis Shea is here. He's in the mentorship. The president is there. There is Larissa. There is Nadesh. Do any of you have a question for the pastor?
Yes, please.
Go ahead.
Good morning, Pastor.
Good morning.
And thank you so much. I've learned so much. I mean, I really feel blessed to have this opportunity. So one of the things I want to ask you, you being a pastor, I'm so happy about it. So about the spiritual aspect of our past, our journey. How do we actually channel in that particular aspect? Because I know I have been told recently that it's very important to also be spiritual in the ways of listening to our inner
Yeah,
man
yeah.
and so forth and so on. So I
Right.
really want you, if you don't mind, bring some light in that aspect. Thank you.
Right. My wife and I are very particular about teaching the word of God to our children. We insist on them learning a scripture every week. Even at the church, we have, we have them learn scripture. Somebody came to visit our church and brought her two kids, and they gave them homework at church. So when the kids went home, the kids, gave their homework assignment, the scripture that they had to learn to the parent. And the parent said, which church gives homework? Homework is supposed to be school. But the word of God says, thy word have I hid in my heart that I might not sin against thee. The word of God is a lamp to our feet and a light to our path. So our spiritual Africans, we are already spiritual. Our spiritual development is very, very important. In fact, I want to share something that happened this summer. When my son, I'm not this summer, this Christmas break, when my son came home, he wanted to buy a car. And he started searching social media, and every time you post a car and send it to me, Daddy, this one is going for this much. I said, Mecca, be patient. The right vehicle will come. Keep looking. So he kept getting a bit frustrated. I said, be patient. The Bible tells us, be anxious for nothing. In all things with prayer, supplication, and thanksgiving, make your request known to God. And the peace of God that surpasses all understanding will guard your heart and your mind. So stop stressing about it. Just commit it to God, and we will find the right vehicle. And we went to a lot. The vehicle was sitting there. We looked at it, 2022 vehicle, only 30,000 miles on it. The person who was selling didn't even know that it has such low mileage on it. And we bought the car. So when we came home, I said, you see that patience pays, because some of the other cars you wanted to get had 100 and something thousand miles on it, and you just wanted to get a car. I said, be patient. So we need to always connect our children back to faith in God, trusting that God will make provision, but also do our part. Many times we think it's just going to fall from heaven, but we need to do our part. God will bless you when you do your part. Every promise in the Bible has a condition. Believe and you will be saved. Give and it shall be given unto you. So we are quick to claim the promise without fulfilling the condition. And we teach our children every promise of God, look at the condition. God will never lie. If you do your part, guaranteed God will do his part. So when we came home, he said, I'm going to call my car Patience. And that week with him going through that is faith formation for him. Now
That's
he can go
interesting.
out in the world and know that if I want anything, I don't have to rush for it. If I wait patiently, God will bring the right thing to me. So our faith is very important, and we need to teach that. Even as a family, when you are struggling financially and you're believing God, let the children know you're struggling. Let the children know we don't have money. Let the children know we can't pay the rent this month, but we are going to believe God. So they will join their faith with you. One secret I learned as a Sunday school teacher is that God hears the prayer of children, maybe more than he hears the prayer of adults, because the Bible says their angels are always in the face of God. And we know angels are the messengers that carry our prayer requests and bring it back. So if they are always in the face of God, then if I need something, I want a child to pray about it for me instead of me praying about it. I hope I answered your question.
Thank you for bringing that spiritual aspect, because that reminds me of one of the aspects you were exposing on persistence. For us to succeed in our career choices, in our finances, we have to be persistent. But persistent, not like a mosquito buzzing and giving trouble to people. So we'll be having a short break, and then we'll be introducing our next speaker, who will be connecting with us remotely, Dr. Ambe, who is a university professor. He's actually in Houston now to do some expose, and he was so gracious to us and decided to take a break just to do this presentation. So Toride, thank you again for welcoming the Cameroon Dallas Football Club. Started since 2006 under many leadership. But I remember when I came into CAMDAL, President Chezo has been the one pushing a lot of things, bringing all this leadership, and his vice president Nanko learned a lot from him, got formed, and now he's the president of CAMDAL. And everywhere we go, you are always there, President Nanko. So I thank you and your predecessor for really making sure CAMDAL is helping the community. So, Pastor, thank you again for this presentation.
You're welcome.
And I look forward to seeing you at the African Think Tank.
Yes.
So at this time, we are going to introduce our next speaker, Reverend Ambe. He recorded his conversation. We are going to listen to the record for about 15 minutes. And then we will connect with him for him to conclude. Toride, if the video is already downloaded, could you launch that? Again, once more, welcome.
Good morning,
so while
folks.
We are downloading that, Reverend Ambe, Dr. Ambe, your presentation will be going on right now.
Thank you all for the opportunity to share my thoughts on how small businesses, particularly in our African community, can leverage the benefit of minority business certifications to enhance their contracting opportunities. My appreciation also goes to the leadership of CAMDAL. Indeed, you guys are doing a marvelous job in order to empower, the Cameroonian community in the DFW area and beyond. I would love to have been in person, in the studio with the rest of my peers to share my thought on this. But however, I'm currently engaged as I'm currently delivering a graduate program at the peer review A&M University in Houston. As I've been introduced by the program director, I am a professor of supply chain management at Jackson State University and as a consultant with over 18 years experience in supply chain management. Minority business certifications offer profound benefit and various forms of assistance to small businesses. And I believe that you can be able to leverage on this to be able to make the difference. Indeed, it is the difference between businesses that are lagging behind and their peers or competitors. And also, it is profound or fundamental in ensuring that you as a small business become a leader in your sector or industry. In this presentation, I'm going to dwell on how you can be able to, leverage on the benefit of minority business certifications, the certification programs that are available to you, and as well as how you can be able to enhance your contracting opportunities. For me, before I start into the actual presentation on the minority business certifications, I would like to probably bring to your attention some of key facts which I thought it might be of interest to you. The fact that there are certain benefits that we are not aware of, In fact, the federal government is the largest consumer of goods and services in the world, spending roughly over $600 billion annually. And in every country, procurement share of the budget is massive. And therefore, we need to be able to maximize the opportunities. In the fiscal year 2021, a total of $154.2 billion, or 27.2% of all contracting dollars, went to small businesses, an $8 billion increase from the previous financial year, according to the SBA Small Business Procurement Scorecards of 2021. It is also important that I bring to your attention that the General Service Administration, as of July 18, 2022, announced steps to advance equity and supply diversity in federal procurement, so as to reach federal administration goal of increasing the share of contracts awarded to small disadvantaged businesses by 50%, by 2025. A recent survey that was conducted by Deloitte in 2021 estimated that over 90% of large corporations are interested in socially responsible purchasing, and over 60% of their procurement offices are now being formally measured, on how they spend with small businesses or diverse suppliers. And that's a trend across the United States and across companies. They want to be able to show that they are socially responsible. If you look at, if you've been following scorecard of Fortune 500 companies, they need to indicate the aspect of what we call the ESG compliance, which social responsibility or supply diversity is a key component. The Small Business Administration works with federal agencies to award over 23% of government contract dollars to eligible small businesses. And of course, businesses that work with certified minority business owners may be eligible to certain relief or certain tax benefit. I'm glad that we have tax experts with us here, and probably in due course, they would be able to expatiate on that. If you look at what I have here in figure 1 and 2, you would realize that as per the 2021 annual business survey, that Hispanic and Asian communities are maximizing the benefit of minority business certifications as compared to Black or African Americans. And that is something that we should be worried about, that we are not yet maximizing or taking up or maximizing the opportunities that are available to us. And the key question that I'll be asking all of us here is, how many Black firms of African descent, within the DFW area have minority business certifications? How much in dollars have they been acquired as a result of that? We have over 750 businesses or individuals listed within the DFW Nextdoor community platform. How many of them are certified? How many of them are making use and making the dollars, the millions from SPAs and others? You could get millions. You could become a millionaire through this particular program. And therefore, I'm asking all of us, are you leveraging the benefit of minority business or diverse certification to increase contracting opportunities for your business? It's something which I think we need to ponder about, because we cannot let go of the opportunities that are around us. Let me bring to your attention to the fact that minority business certification is not only beneficial to those doing business for federal, state, or local government. Corporate entities also support minority businesses as part of what I've already termed corporate social responsibility, sustainability, supplier diversity, which with the leadership of CAMDAL, sometime in the future, we'll talk more about it. I mentioned about a trend on environment, social, and governance issues, which is pertinent, or probably what we call socially responsible purchasing in Fortune 500 companies, that they want to be able to incorporate, businesses within the areas that they are working on, and to be able to empower the community. As a small business, are you leveraging the benefit of minority or diverse certification to increase contracting opportunities? Subcontracting opportunity can be marvelous. It can be a huge sum of money that can change your business status. And therefore, it is something that you need to be able to consider how it can be able to help you to drive that. Let me bring to your attention as applied diversity in simple terms. It means the use of minority-owned businesses as suppliers, giving the opportunity to disadvantaged suppliers through inclusion. And supply diversity program has a proactive business programs that encourages, the use of procurement or supply chain, which is even embraced within the supply chain process. And within the procurement of supply chain, we have what we call supplier base. Supplier base is the process where we look for different suppliers to incorporate within this organization so that they could partake, in the contracting process. Therefore, it is worthwhile to note that supply diversity is a fundamental part. Once you become certified, that is one of the areas that you can be able to maximize on. The key question that we need to ask ourselves is, if we haven't heard about it, is then, what is minority business enterprise certification? Before dwelling on that, it will be worthwhile that I bring to you that a minority business enterprise is a business that is owned, and or has a majority share by a United States citizen from a recognized minority group. And according to the framework of the US business law, a minority business can be owned by an African American, Asian American, Hispanic American, Native Americans. In that way, we said minority business enterprise certification, it is a process of gaining official government recognition that a business is majority owned by someone from a racial minority group. And it would be interesting to you to know that according to the National Conference of State Legislators, we have at least 38 states, including Washington, D.C., that have got minority certification program. Like I've indicated, it is not only limited to government. Minority programs are also being encouraged in the private sector. Although sometimes we have discrepancy, we have legal issues, around minority certification programs, but it is very, very fundamental and it still exists. Now, let me take you to the different types of minority or supply or diverse business certifications. We have different categories, from federal certification, state-supported certifications, as well as corporate certifications. As you can see on the screen, you have many of them. You just need to be able to understand what is the requirement for each and how can it be of benefit to you and your businesses. For example, I've highlighted the Small Business Administration. SBA 8 is a fantastic certification, which probably in future presentations, we could be able to dwell on each one of these that are very, very fundamental, but I can be able to pick some of them that I thought would be very, very critical for you. The Small Business Administration, the Disadvantaged Business Enterprise, the Minority Business Enterprise, the Women Business Enterprise are very, very key, and some of the some common known certification programs that I think can be very, very fundamental to our community. You also have benefits around economic disadvantaged businesses, the Hub Zone certification that is also very, very critical, which it also exists within the state of Texas that you can be able to leverage on. Now we ask ourselves that, why do I need, as a small business, why do I need to become certified? You know, that question brings to light the fact that being certified, makes you as a small business better in the eyes of government and corporate. It increases your opportunities. Certification provides your small business with a minority, nationally recognized and highly respected status that makes your company stands out against market competition for elite and distinguished clients. And some of the key benefit why you need to become certified is the fact that you will have access to government and corporate grants and contracts. And one of the key is the fact that you get set aside opportunities or sole source contracts. Many agencies, government agencies, are where private corporations engage, in conducting business with government. They must spend at least 20% of their budget to small businesses or to small companies. Many first-tier suppliers or major contracts are expected to engage in subcontracting opportunities, which, as a certified business owner, you are prioritized with those opportunities. We talk about grants and loans. There are certain grants and loans which are open only for minority certified businesses. You could be able to benefit from increased business partnership opportunities, incentive investment, training and technical guidance. Once you engage and become certified with the SA8 for the small business administrative program, you have an opportunity in engaging in the A8 Mentor Protege program, which is a huge program with a lot of resources to be able to support you over 8 years period. You have the National Minority Supply Diversity Council that offers certified minority business enterprises various programs and services that help them with professional development. Networking opportunities, you get listed in supply databases. I know there are few of our comrades, or peers within the African community that are benefiting from it. In our last presentation, those who were in attendance could hear from Muke with the opportunities that are coming to him because he is what? A minority business enterprise. Companies will call you. Companies will look for you because they want to be recognized as engaging or being socially responsible, engaging in process of supply diversity. They want to be seen out there as promoting national agenda. So they're going to look out for you. You're going to benefit also from the SB Emerging Leaders Initiative. The National Minority Supply Diversity Conference. You're going to engage through that conference. Through the Diversity Council conferences, you're going to network. You're going to get opportunities, from other small businesses that you could be able to work with, from big corporations that will be looking at you when they get contract to subcontract to you, and others as partners. So this is an opportunity which I believe you don't want to afford to miss it out. How then do you become certified as a minority-owned business? There are multiple ways to get a minority business certification. Earlier on, I mentioned the fact that you could be certified, through the federal programs, through state programs, and through corporations. But then these are the common ways in which you can be able to get certified. Through the National Minority Supply Development Council's program, the Small Business Administration program, the state and local programs. There might be some overlapping between the different programs, but it is a good idea that you understand. And that's why I mentioned the fact that you need to be able to understand your organization and which certification you should pursue. I compiled this list to be able to assist you to be able to see, the different certification agencies and the types which are there and the duration, the time, the cost. You would see that some of these certification programs are actually for free. It entails no cost at all. So it costs you nothing to become certified. You just need to ensure that you meet the requirements which has been provided to be able to leverage on the benefit. On that note, I want to thank you all for listening. And just to say that I'm doing the presentation on behalf of Marcus Ambe Consulting. And our core business is to be able to support the advancement of inclusive procurement, in a nutshell, supply diversity, to strengthen the competitive position of corporate and government while creating, economic opportunities for diverse suppliers and small businesses. Like I indicated, I have over 18 years experience being a professor and a consultant in supply chain management, with procurement and public procurement being a key area of my competence. And I'm also serving as the president and founder of the African Institute for Supply Chain Research, which serves over 13 countries. And I look forward to supporting you if you need any assistance. Our procurement and consulting solutions for small businesses, it looks on how we could be able to help small businesses with certification assistance, inclusive procurement, supply diversity, ensuring that you have opportunities with corporations or government federal agencies, providing you contracting support for federal, state, and local governments, assisting you in terms of your grants for those opportunities that are available for minority-owned businesses. Importantly, we'll try as much as possible to connect you to ensure that you get the advice. But then, in terms of certification, we encourage you to do it because those are processes that you can do by yourself. And please, I encourage everyone in the DFW area to ensure that you get certified, irrespective of the type of business that you're doing. I believe that there's an opportunity out there for you. So go out there after this presentation, do some research, get yourself formally registered as an LLC, because without you being an LLC, a formally registered organization, you can't do this. You need to also get and ensure that your SAM registration for federal contracting is up to date. With the leadership of CAMDAL, probably they will consider we can be able to talk about SAM registration sometime in the future. And once all of that are in place, you need to make sure that you find a certification program that meets your requirement, that meets your needs, and be formally registered as a minority-owned business. Don't let this opportunity pass by. Take and make use of the opportunity. I thank you all for listening. If you need to contact me in any way, you can do that through my personal website, or you can send me an email. You can schedule an appointment or you can send an email. Thank you all, and please do have a blessed day and enjoy the rest of the weekend. Thank you.
And that was the presentation from Dr. Ambe. We'll now connect him live for the next 5 to 10 minutes for any questions from the audience or any elaboration of what you just presented. And Dr. Ambe, understand you are right now at the university and you just took your break to connect with us on this Saturday morning. Welcome.
Thank you very much. In fact, I'm currently in class. As you can hear, my graduate students are here, so I need to run back very soon, but I'm open to the few questions that will be on.
Okay. Is there any question from the studio? All right, there is one. I understand, Larissa, you actually own a small business and you are very interested to hear something from Amber about certification.
Okay, I can hear her.
You share your information, and thank you. Okay, I was saying thank you, Dr. Ambe, for all the information. And like Dr. Francis said, I own a small business, and my business is already registered as an LLC. And moving forward, I think I'm going to look into what you said we should do as far as certifications before coming back to you. So pretty much, I just wanted to thank you. I don't have a specific question for now, but I will definitely get in touch with you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Okay. So, yeah, there is another question from the studio.
Hello, Dr. Ambe. This is Reverend Martin Osai. I am also with the African Think Tank.
Reverend.
Oh, I'm also with the African Think Tank. We are under a year old, and a lot of what you are sharing fits right into our mission and vision in empowering small businesses in our community. We would love to have you come and speak to our group at some point, and I'll get your information. I myself have registered an LLC. I've not done anything with it, but I think it's time to kick it off the ground. It's called STEM in the City, and I want to promote STEM education and guide our young people into STEM careers. I want to be able to take our young people to space camp and things like that. So what type of certification will fit something like that? I'll be working with young people and helping them into STEM careers. What type of small business certification might I want to look at, and what possibilities are there for grants to be able to do that?
Okay, I mean, we could look at various options. So probably it would be nice to see the vision and mission of the organization. And but obviously you have the minority business enterprise, you have the DBE that can work, you have the A8. In fact, for your own personal self, consider it that SBA actually have an opportunity where they can actually support you for a project of $1 million. The key requirement is that if you have a business that is operating within probably 2 to 3 years, you could actually apply and have 10%. Think about it that you have 10% of a value of 1 million, which is 100,000. The SBA is going to support you to have a 1 million project. We can talk about that in future.
I understand you on August 13th, you did a presentation on this same topic, but today you've really expanded on it. And even as CAMDAL prepares for its 9th biannual professional forum coming up on August the 11th at this same time, hopefully in the same studio, we are still hoping to tap into the knowledge you are sharing with us. I know you are in class. Do you have any last few thoughts to share before we can release you?
No, thank you very much indeed. It's always a pleasure, and we need to be able to see that we empower our community. And thanking CAMDAL for the wonderful job you're doing. It will be always my privilege. You know, I said I'm a citizen of Africa and I'm a citizen of the world. I'll be available to provide that. There's a lot of schemes that we can open up. I mean, what I just mentioned about the A8 certification, it is a wonderful opportunity. Also, the aspect of supply diversity, there are wonderful opportunities there that we could be able to hold up people, the suppliers, small businesses, to be able to mentor them. I mean, we could also look at opportunities of collaboration where we could probably look for resources in terms of grant and funding through the initiative that you're doing to be able to then support these small businesses. The resources are there, the initiatives is wonderful, we can be able to do it. So anytime I'm available to support. Thank you very much. And please do have a blessed day further. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ambe. If you are joining us right now, you are live on Facebook, live from Toride Studio. We want to thank you again for letting us this space, a very beautiful studio here. And we hope the community that can get to know more about what Toride does, the sacrifices he's doing to the community. So we are very grateful, Toride, and we always look forward to your programs, and you touch on a wide variety of topics. So this is the Cameroon Dallas Football Club with the mission and vision to enhance members' leadership skills, like we are doing here, people skills. We know those of you listening out there, we want to make you know you can be one of our speakers. And our speaker, you don't have to have some big level of education or title. We want to know about everything you do. Are you a janitor? Are you a tailor? Are you a CNA? Are you a registered nurse? Whatever profession you have, whatever thing you have in life you want to share with the community, we do not want you to be shy. I know in our African community, we are trained to look down respectfully and not speak out, but we want at this time to be able to tell our stories. And that is why the mission of CAMDAL, one of it is communication skills. But we also promote health and wellness. That is why every Friday you have the CAMDAL members. They go to the field to exercise, to play, because they want to be healthy physically. And when you are healthy physically, spiritually too, you are okay, stress is relieved. And then we also promote service to the community through a lot of interactions like this, through our volunteering in the community. And speaking about involvement in the community, this brings us to our next speaker, Ms. Jessie Itambi. She's an accomplished member of the community. She leads a lot of panels, good podcasts, and I would like to hear from her about her Unravel. She has a podcast, Unravel. I know you might not have been prepared to talk on that topic. As I introduce you, after I introduce yourself, before you touch your topic, I really want to know, what are you unraveling in the community?
Hi. Hello, everyone. This is Jessie Itambi, again, as introduced. Dr. here is asking me about a talk show that we just started. It's called Unravel. And yes, I know that the name of it itself is very interesting, and it makes you wonder exactly, like he says, what are we unraveling? So the purpose of that talk show is basically to unravel issues that affect the continent. By the continent, I mean Africa. All of us seated here, most of us that are watching are from Mother Africa. And I felt like there are issues, like serious continental issues, that we just glaze over. We do not discuss in depth, and we fail to take into account the impact of these issues that happen, for which we do not pay sufficient attention. So with the Unravel talk show, we are aiming to take this serious issue, have some really serious conversations around them, and also possibly identify possible solutions in cases where these issues are challenges or they are problems. However, that is not all Unravel is about. We're not just here to look at our challenges and discuss them. We are also very much interested in unraveling the image of Africa. The image of Africa worldwide is very how do I put it, has been very selective for different reasons, has been very negative for different reasons. And those of us coming from Africa, we know that is not true. So Unravel is meant to portray the image of Africa for what it is. It is aimed to portray the opportunities of Africa for what they are, to portray the people of Africa, the resourcefulness, the intelligence, the cultural richness of Africa, and the beauty of the continent for what it is. So that is what Unravel is all about. We want to acknowledge those that are doing great things for the continent, and we want to call out those that are leading the continent down the wrong path. So yes, that's basically what Unravel is about. We started 2 weeks ago, had our first episode this Friday, and Unravel is not an elitist talk show. So if you feel like you have something that's really crucial that needs discussing that affects our societies, it doesn't matter if it affects just a small community. Because what I've learned is that whatever affects a community in Kenya is the same thing that's affecting a community in Somalia, is the same thing that's affecting a community in Southern Cameroon. And so we need to be able to have these conversations and find solutions that work for us as Africans by us and implement them. Yes, so that's what we're about.
And that was a very unconventional introduction. I just made you to go straight into what you're passionate about. So now let me introduce you properly. I will let you introduce yourself.
No,
Who
please,
is
go
JC
ahead.
Itambi?
Oh, I thought you were going to help me with that. But anyway, that's fine. I am... that's okay. First of all, I am a mother of 2 beautiful boys. And now, I am a lot of things. I am a Pan-Africanist. I have a deep love for the continent. I think that everything that I do, every venture that I take, at the back of my mind, the ultimate goal is how will I translate this to mother continent? How will that eventually, ultimately affect the continent? So I'm 100% down Pan-Africanist. I am into IT project management as well. That's career professional. And talking about career professional, I do a lot of things. So I'm a chartered accountant, a certified financial advisor. So I do offer financial services, a wide range of financial services as well. I have a company. We just listened to Dr. Ambe there, encouraging all of us to have companies and do things the right way. So I have a company that's called Azani Capital. Now, Azani Capital has a huge vision, but at the moment, what we do is that we offer financial services to individuals, to families, and to businesses. So we provide business consulting, we provide insurance and life insurance annuities. We provide accounting and tax because, the background is there. And we will help you with things like your mortgage. If you needed to get a loan for your mortgage, we are a broker for that as well. So those are the things that we're doing. But Zani Capital has a vision that is much, much, much more bigger than what we have on our platform at the moment. So those are some of the things that I do. I'm a passionate community person, always wanting to do whatever it is that impacts the community positively. And that was one of the reasons why we started Unravel. So yes, that's me.
So thank you. And if you are joining us, we would like to encourage you to like the video. Please share and follow Toride, follow the Cameroon Dallas Football Club with trying to fulfill its mission to communicate with the community, to get involved. And JC was talking about the unravel, how she's trying to bring our community to unravel things we don't want to talk about for the common person. And we continue to tell everyone the programs we present here, including this, shouldn't be that you have a certain level of education to come. So we hope that some of our audience members, as they listen to you, the ladies, the gentlemen, they get inspired. So today you'll be talking about the common strategies for financial success for individuals, like all of us seated here and are those in the audience, or businesses. Would you delve into that at this time?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm going to start with a joke. So usually I go through social media and I browse through Facebook, skate and stuff. So I came across this one where it said, in a family, irrespective of age, as long as you do not have money, you do not speak. And I thought about it and I was like, there is some truth to that. And so if you're in a family of 12 and you're the oldest, but you're the brokest of them all, and your younger ones are making it, and if they say they're contributing 100,000, you're just going to scratch your head like, okay. Because at that point, you do not have the financial backing to back decisions that are being discussed. And so I'm using the family because we can all identify with that. But however, this is exactly what happens in communities. This is exactly what happens in countries. That's why the richest countries rule the world. So money makes things happen. And so in as much as we do strive to be successful in all other areas of our lives, if you really want to create impact, and I'm not saying that you must need money, we have a lot of people with that money who are creating awesome impact. But however, if you want to create meaningful impact, to be able to impact people's lives the way you want it to be, you need to look at the aspect of being financially successful, whether you are an individual or you are a business owner. So today we're going to be talking about financial success. And please, anyone, whether you're online or you're in the studio, feel free to stop me and ask a question. So every now and then I might throw a question to you guys just to see how we are doing. So we're going to start with financial success for individuals and just go quickly with that. We'll start with a question. So those of you, or maybe I should start with Bishop here. Hi. All right. So tell me, do you have a financial plan for you and your family?
I absolutely do. And one of the reasons why I went into insurance was because one day I was driving from work and I said to myself, if anything happens to me today, how will it impact my children and my wife?
Absolutely.
And I decided to get protection. And many times even when we recently bought my son's car, we had to insure it before we took it out of the lot.
Yep.
A lot of us are buying these cell phones and iPhones and we insure them. But the most important thing
to insure
is you.
Absolutely.
Because somebody said your life insurance is your love letter to your family
and yourself.
When you are not there, they may cry, but that money will take care of them.
They'll love you the more. So, so thank you so much. Is it Reverend Bishop?
Martin, right? Just Martin, or sorry, Pastor Martin.
Pastor Martin. All right. Thank you, Pastor. So that's good. Now, the reason I asked that is because for you to understand what financial success even means, you need to have a plan.
Yeah.
Every single one of us needs a financial plan to determine if you're financially successful or not. So what's financial success? It's neither here or there. It doesn't mean you have to be super wealthy to be a billionaire or a millionaire to be financially successful. However, financial success is about how well you manage that which you earn. So it is not about how much you make overall, though how much you make really is awesome. But if you cannot learn to manage the little that you make, if you make it, that's why people win lotteries and they lose them the next day. So how well you manage that which you earn would determine your financial success. Like how well are you careful with your expenditure? How well are you saving? How well are you investing? How well are you planning for rainy days? Those are the things that would determine. Now, if your answer to these questions that I just asked is well, then you are in a good place. Then it means you are you understand exactly what financial success is about and you are implementing that. So now, quickly, here, just to talk to what it is you need to do to ensure that you're financially successful. Like Pastor just indicated, you need to have a financial plan. Now, this financial plan it needs to be very realistic, please. I'm not saying that you should be castles in the air. You can sit there and say, tomorrow I want to buy a private jet. If I sit and say that, then I'm just deceiving myself, but you need to have a realistic financial plan given your circumstances. So basically, what is it you're trying to achieve? So your financial plan in itself is not just about, say, hey, I want to buy that Range Rover in a year's time. No, your financial plan should be, hey, I want to be able to, first of all, be able to take care of my immediate needs. Let me be able to pay my mortgage and take care of my health and feed myself and be healthy and go about. So your plan should have your short-term plan, which are your immediate plans, the things that you need to do to survive. Your medium-term plans, which are things that you plan to achieve between anything after 1 year to about 3 years or 4 years. And your long-term plan, what is it? What are you looking to achieve in 5 years' time, in 10 years' time? What is the plan? It is very important that the moment you start earning an income, irrespective of how little that income is, draw yourself a plan. This is where I want to be financially in the next 1 year. This is where I want to be financially in the next 3 years. And this is where I want to be financially in the next 10 years, the next 20 years. So when you do that, then you know that, okay, if this is what it is, and of course your plan is not set on stone. As circumstances change, you will review your plan and you will adjust accordingly. So it is there. If without a plan, you will not be able to determine how well you're doing financially. You will just be money getting today, it's out tomorrow. You don't care because you figure in 2 weeks' time you're gonna have another paycheck. But and before you know it, you're living paycheck to paycheck, and that is not really where we want to be. So if you really want to do that, what you have to do once you've put a plan, this is what I want to achieve, right? This is the kind of life I want for my kids, because that's your financial plan. This is the kind of plan I want for my kids. This is how I want us to live. I want us to live in this kind of neighborhood. This is what it's going to cost. Maybe today, maybe in 5 years, we're planning to move to that neighborhood. Plus inflation now, this is what it's going to cost to be in that neighborhood. I want my kids to go to a private school. What are the costs of what will private school cost 5 years ago? What are the costs now, and what will they be in 5 years? You do that. And how often do I want us to take holidays? Where are we going to take holidays? And I think that talking about the continent, one of the things that bother me is that we do not take holidays back to Africa. We take holiday and we go everywhere else except but the continent. And the continent is beautiful. It is awesome. If you're from West Africa, take holiday, go to the east, go to the south. I don't care, but travel the continent. Anyway, that aside. So I was saying that when you have designed the kind of life that you think you want to live, if you have a spouse, that's where the two of you sit and discuss this thing. If you're alone, that is perfect, right? You do this. And when you've done that, that's when you take that plan that you've laid down and you come down to everyday budgeting. So, Dr. Francis, I'm going to ask you, do you do budgeting?
I do budgeting and a lot.
You do budgeting a lot. I'm glad to know, because a lot of people do budgeting and then forget it. So at the beginning of the year, we all do this New Year resolutions where we have these awesome spreadsheets that we put on. And then 2 months down the line, no one looks at it anymore.
But the problem with budgeting for us as paysans or immigrants is you never know who is going to call you at 4 a.m. or 5 a.m. or 6 a.m. with a problem back home. How do you deal with that and budgeting?
Yeah, so usually I get that a lot, but I feel like that's an excuse. So in your planning, in your financial planning, you need to be cognizant that that's the society we come from. So your planning need to have an aspect of that. Call it family solidarity, whatever you want to call it, but give it a name, and ensure that in your budgeting there is an item there that says that family solidarity is this. Right? Now, if you already know the nature of your family, how much do you have to spend monthly to assist family back? How much do you have to spend per annum? Now, maybe you don't spend money every month, but you do know that the past 3 years, you've spent maybe $20,000. Now, take that $20,000 divided by 12 and put a budget there for your monthly budget. That's an estimate. A budget is just an estimate. It doesn't mean it'll be exact. So I hear that they call it a black man tax. So you need to plan for the black man tax in your budgeting, and that's what we have to do. Now, when you do your budgeting, people put income, how much you're earning, and then they put expenses. But I want you to go a little bit further. I want you to take your budget and map it to your goals, map it to that financial plan. So, for example, if you said, I want to buy, Nadejda said she wants to buy a Range Rover. What was that one you said you're buying next year? Yes. Yes. So she wants to buy that next year, the latest edition. Now, if I were helping her do her budgeting, I would ask her, how much are you saving per paycheck towards this Range Rover? So if you want to buy it in 15 months, show me where you are putting this money to buy that Range Rover in 15 months. So just because you have income and expenses and you say, okay, at the end of the month, I have this surplus. No, it doesn't work like that. Take your financial plan. If you say, no, I want to invest, I want to buy an investment property in 2 years, where are you saving the down payment that you're going to need for that investment property in 2 years? Show me that item in your budget. Now, all of this money can be seated in a savings account somewhere, but it is a budget item that leaves your income into that, and you know what it is for. So it is imperative that when you do your budget, don't just say, hey, this is our family income. Yeah, we're earning 600,000. We're awesome. And these are our expenses, and we're spending 400,000. So we can squander 200,000 happily and we'll be fine. No, map those goals to your budget. And when we talk about budget here, your budget also has to be broken down into short term, medium term, and long term to speak to your financial plan. And when you do this, mapping your budget to your financial plan, ultimately you come and see sometimes it looks very frightening. But it is your plan. You know your capability. You know where you want to go. You know what you're going to do. And like I said, it should not be a fantasy. You should have a plan to be able to get to where you're going. If you're wanting a Range Rover, you know your current income cannot provide a Range Rover, your plan should have an item for extra income, where you're going to get that extra income. So you should be able to identify that. Now, when you do your financial plan and your budget, focus on your short-term goals first. Why do you have to focus on your short-term goals first? Because that is motivation to achieve the longer-term goals. So, for example, let's say your short-term goal was to pay off your car loan. My short-term goal in the next 1 year, I want to pay off my car, for example. And then, okay, so for me to pay off my car, I know that I'm already paying this much every month. But if I don't make an extra effort, at the end of the year, I'm still going to be owing maybe 20,000. But I want to pay it off. What do I need to do? Maybe you need to pay an extra repayment every month or every 2 months or every 2 weeks. That's what you put in your plan. And when you focus on achieving these short-term goals, who can give me another short-term goal? Now, anyone, what is it you guys want to achieve in the next 12 months? Buy a house. I love that. So Nadesh, you want to buy a house in the next 12 months. So what you need to be doing right now is, how much is your cap? How much are you willing to invest in a house? Is it 300,000, $1 million, $1 million, 700,000? Where is that cap? Because you would have looked at neighborhoods. By now you have an idea of where you want to buy a house. You know the size of a house you want to buy. So from the market, you can tell and you have an idea of what you want to buy. Now the next question is, okay, so you just decide now you want to buy a house. And I'm going to give you an example. I made a decision like that, right? And I knew that if I'm going to do that, I need to do some savings so that I can have a significant down payment when I'm buying. So you don't want to pay the very minimum if you can. Sorry, you don't want to pay the very bare minimum if you can afford. If I can afford it. So you want to buy a house, Nadej, and the next thing you're like, okay, so how do you do this? There are tools on the internet, on Google, where you can just go plug in the numbers. If I want to buy a house for 500,000, pay it back in 3 years, what would be my down payment? What would be my installment payment per month? You can plug those in and you give you the figures. Then you have an idea, or speak to somebody like us that work with people that buy houses. We'll tell you what that might entail. And then you'll be like, oh, okay, this down payment, maybe it's a little high. Either I lower the price, my cap, or I push forward my date. Maybe instead of 12 months, I might want to do this in 18 months, right? So it allows you to be flexible to actually look at the situation and decide exactly how you want to play around to get exactly what you want. And when you have that, imagine if you set a target today to buy a house in 12 months, and in 12 months' time, you move into your house. You're going to sit in your house and you'll be like, okay, now next 12 months, what are we doing? So you go back into your financial plan and look at, what did I say I want to do in 3 years? What did I say I want to achieve in 3 years? Buy an investment property? Maybe. Buy a bigger house? Maybe. Build a house somewhere else? Who knows? Whatever it is, go back to school, whatever that goal was. You've achieved your short-term goal, and it becomes so much more motivating to keep pushing, to do more. And before you know it, you're doing more than you thought you could, because you can see how far you can go to achieve your goals. So focus on the short-term goals first. If you have little debts here and there, credit card, car note, focus on paying those off, because those have like really high interest rates that if you don't pay them off, the interest rate will keep draining your cash flow and you will not be left. So focus on paying those off. And then before you know it, money that you were paying off this debt will be sitting in your account as savings that you can use for investment and other things. All right. So that's the first thing you have to do. Just do the budget short term. And again, we've already spoken about making sure you build those goals into your budget. And the other thing that I always advise people, and this was because I was a victim. So I had this awesome budget and financial plan, but I didn't automate my budget. So I'll be like, nah, every end of the month, I'm going to go pay my bills. I would forget. And then the companies will start calling. And before I know, I have a $35 charge on a bill that I had no business delaying payment for. So automate your payment as much as you can. If you're paying your car note, automate it. If you're paying your electricity, automate it. Just do auto pay for all your normal bills and repayments, whether you're paying debt or whatever. It's going to make your life a whole lot easy. That way you won't forget, you won't be accruing any additional charges or anything like that. And that will help boost your credit score. And since we talk about personal financial success, especially if you're in the US, it is imperative that you have a good credit score. You want to buy a house. When it will get the time for you to buy a house, lenders will look into your credit score to determine if you are worth lending to. And if they feel like your credit score was below a certain par level, your interest rate will go up. They might not refuse to lend you the money because you have a really good income. However, your interest rate will be higher. And so your cost of lending becomes much, much higher than it would have been if you had just paid attention to little things to ensure you have yourself a good credit score. So since you have that goal, just make sure you're keeping an eye on your credit score and make sure it is good to go for when you need it. And then the other thing that we have to do as individuals, we have, you've done all this planning, you have your goal set, you're working, you've automated your budgets to your plans, and you're working on doing everything that you've attained. The other thing is make sure you leverage free money. So I know I did say you should pay off your credit cards, but one of the things that you want to do is keep those credit cards that give you points or cash returns. Yeah. Keep those credit cards. What I do is that I don't use, so I take my debit cards and I keep them at home, and then I take my credit cards for shopping. I take my credit cards for shopping. I shop with my credit cards. They give me the points. I get home and I pay back, and I transfer from my debit card to my credit card. That way, because if I directly from my debit card, I'm not getting any benefits from there. Mm-hmm. So leverage the free money. Before you know it, you're accruing your grocery money from just free points that you're getting from a credit card, right? So it is important. Now, if you're an individual that is an employee and you have an employer that is offering you, say, for example, a 401k match up, please take it. Now, Pastor will tell you, he and I, we're in the insurance industry. Ideally, we would advise you on other options. The only time I advise individual employees to take up a 401k, the only time is if your employer is matching your percentage. So where I'm working right now, I'm currently matched 6%. So I contribute 6%, the employer matches 6%. There is no way I'm leaving that 6% on the table.
Money.
I am contributing 6%, you bring yours. Now that's 12% to me. The additional 6 is free of charge. So I'm taking that, right? So if you have a situation like that, you take it. But if you do not have that free money to benefit you, before you start investing in things like 401k or Roth or whatever the case might be, IRA, speak to a financial advisor. There might be better financial products out there for you. Don't get carried away by what you see at work, because usually at work, they will make it optional for you to decide if you want a 401k or not. So speak to a financial advisor and then just see where that goes. And then the next one I want to bring is that of understanding the value of money. Interestingly, we love procrastinating. I'm a victim. We love procrastinating. No, I'm not going to invest it. I'm going to start 6 months. 6 months, you haven't started, and you're looking at it in 6 months' time. Now, what you're doing is that you're losing out on the value of money. By the time you're investing, your value of money has diminished from what it were when you should have. So the moment you start earning, that's when you should have a financial plan in place and you should start investing. And to individuals and businesses, one of the things I want to say is that these are just some really basic things that you can do to improve on your financial situation. However, I would urge you to talk to a financial coach or a financial advisor. And the reason for this, the reason for talking to a financial coach and financial advisor, and sometimes people are confused as to who is a financial coach versus a financial advisor. So a financial coach, it's someone that looks into your behavior with money. That is a financial coach. So a financial coach interrogates and advises you on your behavior with money, whereas the financial advisor advises you on the behavior of money.
Interesting difference.
Yes. So the coach coaches your attitude towards money, how you use money, how you see money, how you attribute money to either success or whatever. The financial advisor just looks at, okay, so you have this money now, what can we do with it? How can we help you grow? What can we use it for? That's a financial advisor. Fortunately, at Azani Capital, which is my financial services company, we do offer both. So if you need a financial coach, we will gladly take you. And financial coaching is a journey. We'll take you to kind of change your mindset around money, how you use money, how you see money, and what you attribute money, how you see value of things that are not necessarily valuable, right? So that's what we do in our coaching sessions. And then when we want to do advisory for you, then we can help you on what the money market looks like, what is best for you now and in the long term. So we're hoping that some people will reach out there for, I think I'm going to use this opportunity to say that the first 5 people that come to Azani Capital for financial coaching will get it for free if they reference that they saw this discussion in the Dallas veteran CAMDAL veteran empowerment session. If you reference that, come to us. We are going to give you financial coaching, not advisory. Even though advisory, you don't necessarily have to pay, but the coaching itself is a paying service. But we will offer the first 5 people that reach out to Azani Capital for free. Now, I'm just going to highlight a couple of things that businesses need to do differently from individuals. The first thing is that if you own your business, yeah, sure, if there's a question.
Hi.
Hi, Ades.
Okay. Thank you so much for all you said already. It is really wonderful. So I just want to know, what advice will you give to, say, Nadesh wants to buy a house in the next 12 months? She does like everything she thinks she's doing, like to get the house. And then in 12 months, she's nowhere even close to getting that house. What advice would you give her, like not to give up, how to better maybe manage her finances or better plan and all that, or that not? What advice will you give Nadesh?
I'll tell Nadesh that personally, as a financial coach, I will need more information to be able to better advise you. I'll need to know where the gap is and help you cover that. So if you're doing everything in your power to acquire a home in 12 months and you feel like you're not getting that close despite everything that you're doing, then maybe let us sit down and have a conversation. It may be a coaching aspect where you're just not seeing the value of money in a certain way. You're just not understanding your behavior with money in a certain way, or you are misunderstanding the property market, right? So it could be any of this, because in buying a house, we'll need to discuss about a whole lot of things: your earnings, your spending, your tax situation, your legality, your financial situation, how long you've been working for. It's a whole lot of things. And the property market itself, what you're looking for, whether it is realistic or it is not. So in your situation, I would say that I feel like if you feel that way, that you're not meeting the goal, it's either because there's a misunderstanding as to what you think you need versus what you actually need. So we need to unpack that and help you to figure that out so that you can close that gap. Yes. So thanks, Nadesh. Any other question before I push through? I know that Doug will be telling me it's time pretty soon. All right. So I'm just going to highlight a couple of things that help businesses to be successful. We've spoken about individuals. Now, businesses. Now, first of all, if you own a business, you are not the business. Let's understand that. Every single person here, the first thing I always tell my client, that bank account is not yours. Whatever money is in your business account, don't use it and go where? I don't know. Cancun. Yes, don't use it and go to Cancun. Pay yourself a salary and then go to Cancun.
Okay.
Yes, compensate yourself for whatever work you're doing in your business. Anyway, so talking about a few things. As a successful business, having listened to Pastor here and having listened to Dr. Ambe, it is important that you set clear financial goals at the beginning of every year. So your business, again, just like an individual, have those goals, right? But every year you review them. Businesses do that. Are they still realistic? Are they still attainable? Are they still achievable? Look at those. What are the cost implications of this? And determine if you still want to do it. Your business goals, you don't have to try to achieve everything in the same year. So each year you can have a specific goal or two. One year could be you want to broaden your customer base. The other year could be you want to reduce your expenses. The other year could be you want to invest, you want to expand your business. So you don't have to, no, I want to increase customer base and I want to expand and I want to reduce. Now, how do you expand and you're planning to reduce expenses? I have no idea. So you need to be very specific as to what you want to achieve in your business within a specific period. And then you work towards that. And then next year you can have another objective. Okay, last year I focused on marketing and outreach and making sure that I expanded my marketing base. I have the client base that I think I needed. This year I'm going to focus on, because my client base has expanded. We're going to take African Think Tank to Delaware. We're going to take it to Chicago. We're going to take it to all these other places because we've been able to focus on marketing and we've gotten the message out there, right? So those are some of the conversations. And then, of course, I think it goes without saying that once you do that, you need to create a budget. Just like an individual, create that business budget. And then the next thing is that please register. Yes, you can operate as a sole proprietor without registering a legal entity, which is okay. However, if you want to benefit from all the advantages that Dr. Ambe just spoke about, a minority business owner and other entities, you want to deal with B2Bs, meaning you want to do business to business, you need to be registered. So register a company, whether it's an LLC, an S Corp, a C Corp, whatever structure that you feel. And if you're not sure what structure best suits you, talk to us. That's why we do business consulting at Azani Capital, because people are not sure what structure suits them. And because an LLC suits Jesse doesn't mean an LLC is going to suit Nadesh, right? So let's just know what you're thinking. And then, of course, I have spoken about this aspect of separating the issue of cash flow management. One of the biggest challenges that you find in small businesses that I see as an accountant and as a tax advisor and business consultant is that business owners do not separate their business cash flow from their personal cash flow. I did this for a while when I just started business. It was cool to just get into the business and swipe. But it is wrong because now when you do that, you do not see, you fail to see how well or how badly your business is doing because you just keep swapping cash here and there. You fail to, you forget in 2 months' time, you don't know what expense was business, which was personal. You cannot properly account for your business and plan its growth. Because unless you know what is happening in your business, you cannot really, really plan for how you want it to progress going forward. And then embrace technology. Guys, technology is here to stay. If you're in business and you're still doing it old school and you are of the younger generation, you need to change. Because you need to learn to automate things. There are thousands of free tools out there that you can use in your businesses and grow. And so Google this, whatever it is you want to do, use this use whatever technology that is out there, whether it is payroll, if you don't want to pay some of us to do these things for you, which is okay, you can get technology to do your bookkeeping, to do your taxes, to do your payroll, and to run your processes, whatever it is, human resources that you want to do. And then as a business, just like an individual, always have an emergency fund in case things go awry. So a contingency fund for business is what we call emergency fund for individuals. Emergency fund for individuals, that $3,000 that you've just put down, you never touch, in case something out of nowhere happens and you need to quickly remove that money, that's what you need to do. And then we will be finishing here in a few minutes, Dr. Francis. So we have manage your debt. As a business, you have debt. You've borrowed money from companies or from individuals or whatever. Whatever you do, you need to manage that. A lot of people have gone under because they failed to manage their debts. They failed to take cognizance of how much they are owing. And it is no fault of theirs in the sense that they did not just understand their business because they failed to talk to a professional. Now, if you talk to a professional, say an accountant like myself, what will happen is that I'll be able to run analysis and tell you where you are regarding your income and your debt, whether you're in the red, in the yellow, or in the green. And then you'll be able to do something about it. And debts are things that you can always negotiate. You go back to the supplier and say, hey, we're going through a rough patch. I need a grace period of 3 months to catch up, and then I'm back on track. No supplier will tell you no. They would rather give you the 3 months than risk writing off that debt as a bad debt. So always negotiate your debt. If they say you need to pay us in 2 weeks, go back to them and say that 2 weeks is too short. I need 30 days before I can make a payment. So they will say, so negotiate your debt and manage those wisely. And then what I tell my customers that I consult for is that as much as possible, don't have a single stream of income in your business. Have multiple streams, just like an individual. Have multiple streams of income. So if you are in real estate and you are, say, doing Airbnb rental at the same time, why don't you look into something like property management? Can you manage property for others and get yourself money? Can you buy and sell property? Look for any other income stream, because with the way the market is going, markets are getting affected not by technology, but by the economy and a whole lot of things that are just going around the world. And so one stream of income might be a risky venture. If it dries up or you start having challenges, then you will not be able to survive. So if you are able to diversify in your business, then that would be the best thing to do. A lot of us do not invest in marketing. We believe, and this is a continental challenge, we believe in mouth to mouth. We want to, and I do that, right? And there is nothing wrong with mouth to mouth, and it is still marketing. However, we need to look beyond our immediate communities and our immediate networks to do marketing. There is a vast market out there. Billions of human beings that need you and I to provide the services that we want to provide for them. So look beyond that. And how do you do that? You invest in marketing, whether you want to do social media marketing or you want to do, I don't know, leads, whatever you want to do. But whatever you do, make sure you invest in marketing. Even in our community, we don't invest enough in the marketing in our own community. We need to be more professional in the way we do it. We need to be more proactive in the way we do it. And if you're going to be a successful businessman, you have to stay informed. Dr. Francis is a medical doctor. There is no way he can afford not to be informed of the latest discoveries in a medical field. So he needs to stay informed and educated. If there are new procedures, he needs to learn them. If there are new tests that are being carried out, he needs to know what those tests are, learn how they're interpreted and how they're taken. So you need to stay informed and educated if you want to be relevant. The one thing that we also, most of us in our minority communities do not know is the fact that there is something called a business credit. So the business credit is the same as your personal credit score, except this is for businesses. And there are only two companies in the US that offer those, right? So you have Experian, which also does personal. Experian does offer the business credit, and you have Dun & Brad. They call him DMB Street. They offer business credit. Why is it important to build your business credit? Now, like we're currently doing with Azani, a lot of companies, once you register a company, they will reach out to offer you credit cards. Take a credit card of, say, $1,000. It's okay. Or $5,000. You know, if you don't use a credit card, there is no cost to it. So take a business credit card. If you want to buy anything business related, whether it is a meal you're sharing with a client, whether it is a computer that you need for your business, whether it is furniture that you need for a business, or is a cell phone that you use personally and for business, use that business credit card and buy it with. Now, what that does is that is going to, and then register with DMB Street or Experian for that, and then put that credit card underneath. What that does, it will track your credit card and it will build it up. You have a maximum of 100 with business credit. When you build a high business credit, you do not need your personal credit in order to get business loans. That protects you from having to expose your personal life to your business in order to get funding to expand your business or to do whatever, or to take care of your operational expenses. So we need to make take advantage of that. The last piece of advice to business is that seek professional guidance. We love to do it all. We want to open a business and be the spokesperson and be the accountant and be the human resource and be the IT director and be everything you want to think of. We are the ones running after clients. We are the ones supplying clients. We are picking up here. We're dropping off there. No. Talk to professionals, especially. And people always think that professional services are expensive. No, they are not. Professional services cost will equate the size of your company. So they are not expensive. If your income is $10,000 a year for your business and you come to me for accounting services, I will offer you a price that your 10,000 business can afford for accounting services. If your business is 100 million, we will talk prices for 100 million turnover business. So talk to professionals, talk to tax experts. Taxation is the one area you cannot afford not to understand. As far as you're a business person or an individual, you need to know how every little financial transaction that you carry out affects you tax-wise. So talk to professionals. And the last thing is that as Africans, we need to learn to build legacies. We run a lot of small businesses. I do not know why we focus on small businesses. We need to have mega visions. Mega. So build legacies. When you're running a business, don't run a business because I just want some side income. No, build a business because you want to build an empire and you want to build a legacy, and you're getting your children involved in that business. As young as they are, I don't care. Get them involved. During holiday, this is what you're doing. I went to change my tires at the tire shop, right? I think the owner of that place was Mexican, and he was there with his 6-year-old son, 6 years. And he's like, go bring me, God knows, whatever tool he needed. The young man runs there and picks it up and gives it that. So I'm sitting there and I'm looking at it. I'm like, you work here? He says, yeah, during the holidays. I'm like, I love that. I'm like, so that does that pay you? You say, yes. I'm like, how much? It's like $2 per hour. I'm like, this is what I want. There is absolutely no way that child will ever not be able to take care of himself, because whether it is formal education or it is trade and business, he is equipped. And so whatever ventures we find ourselves, get your children involved in. If you do not have ventures, send them to friends that have ventures. During summer holiday, don't keep them at home. Say, Jesse, hey, I have a teenager here that's boring me to hell. Can I send them to come and learn accounting this summer? I don't care what they do. They should just come sit down and file paper. Because in filing paper, they will read the paper and they will ask you questions and they will learn. Kids are never too young to involve them in your businesses. And when we fail to do that, that's why in Africa, often when the billionaires die, their empires just crumble with them.
Yes.
Because there is no continuity. There is no continuity plan in action. And we need to change this narrative. So whatever in your medical field, take your children to the clinic. You don't care if they're interested in the medical field or not. But that skill alone, their ability to deal with clients, their ability to be organized, is going to serve them in whatever career path they choose. So it's not that they're going to end up where you're taking them, but it is giving them skills that they're going to learn for the rest of their lives. So please, if you have young kids, involve them. If you're going to veteran, don't take them now. It's winter, it's too cold. They're going to come back sick.
In fact, if I listened to your presentation before today, Toride, you remember I was about to bring my 10-year-old and 6-year-old to this session. Our fear was, what if they start running into the studio? But thinking about what you are saying, that they should have been here, because they have attended every mentorship and professional forum.
Yep.
You see Chezo's kids, Pancreatus Muke's kids, and so on, they will come. So,
it is super important. The guy that changed my bathroom countertop, right? He came, discussed with me, got the price on the quote. His father, now this young man is about 19. His dad is the one that came and did the installation. Now, when the dad was coming, the dad came with his younger brother, who is about 9 years old.
Wow.
Now, that's a whole generation. None of them is interested in formal education, because I promise you, they make more money than all of these things that we do.
They do.
Yes, please.
Building a legacy, we don't think about it or see it as so important.
Mm-hmm.
And the example that you took earlier with the little boy,
mm-hmm.
I would say, earlier that I own a small business, right? An LLC.
Yeah.
My business is in tailoring.
Okay.
And that skill, trust me, I've never gone anywhere to learn it. My mom went to design school and I pretty much grew up seeing what she was doing. I learned and I'm pretty good at what I do by the glory of God. So, and I'm going to take this opportunity also to say, in a community right now,
mm-hmm.
I'm very available to train any child that if any parent feels like he has a child that is interested or, or not definitely interested, because like you say, we also want to make sure that we occupy our children.
Absolutely.
Because in this America and there's so much distractions
mm-hmm.
and kids are more on their iPad, on the internet, learning whatsoever only God knows. So yeah, definitely building our legacy is important, because today I love the fact of, making what I wear
mm-hmm.
and making it for other people and making money out of it.
Yeah.
I never planned for it until I got to America where I realized that, oh, wait a minute, I can actually make money out of this skill that I learned just by being around my mom, So it's very important. Thank you very much for that.
That's awesome to hear. Don't let my mom hear that. She was also a seamstress, but that is a skill I could not pick up for anything. Like my brain and sewing and any handiwork.
My dad was an electrician. He took me to. I was the one connecting, but I don't know why I didn't pick up that skill, and I regret it today.
Yeah. So on that note, I want to just share a couple of tools that we should all look into. Now, these tools are going to help you as an individual or as a business to just be better at understanding your finances and being better at managing them, and thereby being more successful, right? So we have things, I don't know if anybody knows of Rocket Money. So Rocket Money is a free tool. I use it. It pulls all my bills that I pay in a month. I will be like, hey, this month you're negative 5,000 because as compared to last month, I have spent way more than. And it's going to show you everything. So it pulls every transaction from your bank account, Rocket Money. It's free. You don't pay anything for it. So you link it to all your account. It will pull your expenses. It will break them down. It will categorize them. You go to, if it sees anything food or whatever, it puts it in meals and entertainment. If it sees electricity, it's going to put it under utilities. So it categorizes if it cannot categorize, it's going to tell you unidentified item. And then you can look into that and categorize it. And next time it picks that item, it immediately categorizes it for you. So it helps you keep track of your different expenses. You can see where you're overspending and you can make adjustment. What it also does is that it helps you cancel subscriptions. So sometimes you know how you're on Facebook and something's interesting, you're like, click, and then you don't know you've just subscribed on something. Then the next day, $6 is off your account.
Interesting.
You go to Rocket Money, it will ask you if you want to cancel this subscription. If you say yes, if they cannot cancel it, they'll provide you the phone number of that company and say cancel by phone. You say yes, you give it a number, you call and you cancel. So it is super important to just manage your daily budget. You know the budget you've put in place. Use that. That's a way of actually having a soft copy of your budget. You don't need Excel and stuff. Just use that. And then you have Stride. Stride here is an app that allows you to track your travel expenses. For those of you that, this is mostly for tax expenses, for those of you that drive to work and back, those of you that have businesses, you want to claim for travel
expenses.
Yeah, for travel refunds, right? Travel expense refunds. Once you drive, Stride just records the distance and it tells you just how much is deductible, tax deductible as a result of that travel. So at the end of the year, you can just take that to your accountant and say, hey, this is how many miles I drove this year, and this is how much it is what deductible. You put it in my tax return. It also helps you with capturing expenses, whether you're an individual or a business. You capture your expenses and helps you, tells you immediately which ones are tax deductible and which ones are not. So it is important we know this. And then you have NetWallet. NetWallet is like a little tool that if you want to start learning about investment by yourself, you can use NetWallet and Robinhood. You can use those to start understanding a little bit of investment. Robinhood allows you're able to see shares with as much as $10, $20, $50. You can start learning how to place money in some shares, see how they're going. You lose some and you win some. That's the nature of their business. But it allows you to start understanding to a certain extent how the money market works. And if you have question, hey, we're just a phone call away. Get us any capital. Hey, Jesse, I saw this on my Robinhood. I do not understand it. What does it mean? How do I choose companies that I invest in? What should I be looking out for? Then we'll have some conversations. You go out, you try again, and you keep learning. And then you have Concur. Concur is if you're a small business and you have no idea how to manage your expenses, if you're a small business and you have no idea how to manage your expenses, because a lot of small businesses do not. We're just like, okay, pay me through Zelle or pay me through Cash App or pay me through whatever, and that's the end of it. Now, if at the end of the year I ask you what are your expenses, you'll be like, no. You can track your income, not the ones that come through cash. You can track the Zelle and the Cash App. But if I ask you for your expenses, you'll not be able to give me. You've forgotten that there was a day, if you have a hair salon, you've forgotten that there was a day you bought a meal for all the workers in the salon. You've forgotten that there was a day you had to pay for parking. You've forgotten that there was this and there was that. You can't track it. But if you have an app like Concur, it allows you, the moment you buy anything, you can just scan the invoice and it records it for you. You just open the app, you scan the invoice, it records, you can then throw away the invoice. So it doesn't, no, we're not saying this digital age, like I was saying, use technology. Don't keep the manual papers. All of these apps allow you to just be digital with your phone. You do not need a laptop. You do not need an iPad. Just the smartphone that you use and take all those awesome selfies. The last one is Gusto. Gusto is a payroll app. It is very affordable and it caters for every size of company. So this is just advice for people who do not want to use business consultants and accountants like us. You can go on and you can sign up on all of these apps and you will be fine. Sorry. Gusto allows you to have a payroll system where, where your employees can put in their timesheet, and then you just go on there and you review, you sign it off. It immediately calculates their payroll, and you've processed that. This day, this is when you pay, and it pays off from that account. Whatever periodic report you want to get, you get it directly from Gusto. So it doesn't allow you to sit at the end of the year and you are stressing, how much did I pay this person? I need to do a random 1099 for this person. I need to do a random W2 for this person. So those are some of the tools that we should use for financial efficiency and financial success. And overall, I think that I'm going to stop here. There's a lot on this. This is just basic things that we should do day to day right now, that we can start doing immediately to ensure that we're financially successful. And of course, if you have any question, just reach out to Azani Capital. It's on the basis of that Dr. Francis and team invited me to come and speak, so that we can help the community to be more financially vibrant. So thank you guys.
Thank you so much for that very interesting topic, financial planning for individuals and businesses. I could see how interesting it was, and it touched on every base. As a business owner myself, in partnership with some members of the community, we have the amazing Health Partners Clinic in Garland. And some of the strategies which you just shared are some of the things I have to take back to my partners, and hopefully we may have to be knocking at your doors and say, oh, on this day, on Tori Day, you said this, now we need this help. And we hope when we come knocking, you will be, Azani Capital will be ready to help.
Always.
Yes. By the way, Pastor, your topics are some kind of very similar. Do you have any final thoughts to share about financial strategies before I bring in the president of CAMDAL?
Yeah, I do want to say that, I touched on it a little bit, but protect yourself, number one. The next thing you do after you protect yourself, which is life insurance.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the simple formulas to determine how much life insurance you need is called the DIME method. D-I-M-E, DIME.
DIME method.
Debt. How many debts you have? What is your income? What is your mortgage? And then how much do you need to educate to send your kids to college? Debt, income, your mortgage, that's your house that you have, how much it's left on it, and then education. If you calculate how much you need to take care of those things, that is how much life insurance protection coverage you need. Then if anything happens, the debt can be paid in your absence, the house can be paid, your children will still live in the house, they can still go to college, and that income, because it's no longer coming, the life insurance takes care of it. So that's something to give our community, the DIME method to use to calculate how much insurance you need. So if it says you need $1 million, then do a term policy for $1 million. Term, you can do up to 30 years, but I prefer you do something that builds cash accumulation. And on a different occasion, we'll talk about that. The other thing too is get out of debt. And then those who use credit card, use the bank's money. Use the card, pay everything. Don't pay minimum. I've taught my children not to pay minimum ever. My son now has 2 credit cards. Every month he uses it for gas, grocery, everything. When he gets paid, his little allowance from the Army National Guard, he pays everything off. His credit score is now 700 and something. And he's only 21. A lot of young people go to college and they put themselves in debt. They get all these offers. The credit card companies know. They'll send you, some of them have 2, 3, 4, 5 cards, and they are spending and they are paying minimum. It will take you forever. You'll be in debt. So I just wanted to throw those out there. Foundation protection, get out of debt. Once you're out of debt, you can start investing. And some of us, we have so many debts, you can consolidate. There's something called debt consolidation.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I did that 5 years ago. As at December last year, I paid off every debt I owe. The only debt now I have is my car note and little left on my mortgage. That's it. And I'll be debt free. But now, because I've done that, I'm beginning to invest. I'm a part investor in a cassava plantation in Ghana, and I send $1,000 every month to that project. So when I have debt, I can do that. But now that I don't have debt, that money that I have freed from paying debt can now go into investment for my future.
The dime
Thank
method
you.
is certainly something we go away home with.
Yeah.
And I hope all our CAMDAL FC members, the members of the DF community, or even some of our audience, because I see on Facebook Live, we have our audience from Canada, Europe, and Africa. We hope you can each learn from what he has shared and apply it to your specific situation and location. And I discovered, JC, you spoke a lot about Rocket Money, Stride, Gusto, and whereas I've heard those terms being thrown out there, you kind of brought them so much into perspective today. I leave there having gained a lot of knowledge from both of you. And I hope our audience too, like we said, we have to be learning is something lifelong. We learn every day. And that's why on this Saturday morning, we are seated here talking. We are not sitting here talking because we have a lot of knowledge or some people think they just want to talk. No, we are here because, first of all, we want to learn. Then we also want to share the knowledge we have gained. And when we talk of sharing knowledge, we said it here, it's not about big education or what. Whether you're a janitor, you can share knowledge. So we CAMDAL FC will have a few announcements, which I will be calling on the president to come and we talk about. But just so you know, on February 10, we are having our CAMDAL Valentine's party because CAMDAL FC is a family-oriented organization. On that day, I will be buying a hot red for my wife, myself in hot red. And we want to encourage people to come as couples and celebrate Valentine's Day, February 10th, before the 14th, when you can celebrate individually.
So singles are not invited.
Now, singles are invited because we want singles. No, it's very important. We want singles to come and mingle.
And mingle, that's right.
So there will be singles who will come and mingle. And it's a good opportunity because when I look at the pictures of the past years, some of the people were eyeing with our left and right eye. We went to some of their baby showers and weddings. So we want singles to come and mingle. We want, if you have a significant other, you bring. So yes, that's a very important observation. Mr. President, would you like to come over and let's go through some of the announcements? You can stay there, JC. So thank you, Pastor. We also know that CAMDAL does a lot in sports and recreation. Our sports and recreation department under Bruce and Walters, they were supposed to be here, but they got caught up with other activities. Just so you know, CAMDAL is also preparing for the TVT. There is the many tournaments, one coming up in Atlanta, and we are also going to be preparing to go to Minnesota. A lot of activities, and we always go as a family. I always use them as an opportunity for vacation for myself and my family. So what are some of the highlights of some activities CAMDAL has in the next few weeks or months?
Before I go and answer your question, I think I want to harp on one point. Jesse just said build legacies. And I remember when we started in 2006, we were younger guys, really young guys. And then all of a sudden we started getting married and having children. And we asked ourselves, what are we going to do with the younger guys who are coming up? You know, they started coming up when they were 10, 15, 16. Now they're 18 and they're going to go to school, to college. And that's how the professional forum was born. I'm talking about legacy again. When we started, there was only one CAMDAL FC in this town, one. But today, from CAMDAL FC, we have had Arlington, team from Arlington. We have a team from us in Allen. We have teams in Phony. All of those teams. Frisco. They came from CAMDAL FC. And when she said, Bill, legacies. That's what I was thinking. CAMDAL is proud to have had this legacy built up from what we started. And as you mentioned, Jay, so the pioneers, that was what was in mind when we started this. And today we have many teams, and we're gonna go to TVT coming, soon. To the NVT, to the NST. These are just acronyms for the tournament that we will be participating in. But coming up, like you said, we have on February 10 is our Valentine's party. We're inviting the community to come and celebrate and enjoy with us. And we have something that you are very passionate about, something that you're really, really passionate about, and that I can see you talk a lot about. And it's on March the 31st, where we are planning to have a season opener. We play throughout the year, but we have on March 31st a season opener. So these are not all, but few of the events that are.
And I know on that season opener, which is March 31st, we are also planning some kind of CAMDAL fundraiser.
Yes.
And the focus will be on helping kids with special needs in collaboration with Cook's Children.
Yes.
I know we have a lot of kids with the autism spectrum, and in our African setup, sometimes these are things we don't want to talk about. We kind of whisper about them within the family, but right now, parents are, speaking of, they are seeking for help, they are seeking for opportunities, knowing that these kids are only special and they are able to achieve a lot if we assist them. So we are hoping that when we come to the community and we talk to you about that fundraiser with Cook's Children, we are really hoping that we'll get your support so we can help these parents form support groups. And that is what CAMDAL is all about. And Toride, again, we thank you so much for inviting us to your studio today. I thank my committee members. I know you are very active in that committee. There is also Chezo, to the former president, is an active member of the forum. Pancreatus Muke and Jay, they are online. We have communications. Henry is not here, but he took ill this morning. He's an active member. Tam Gailo, our designer, is the person that designed all the flyers we were sharing. And then at the technical desk in the mentorship forum, we have Elvis Shea, who recently had his BSN from the University of Texas at Arlington, where pastor's daughter is also attending. So we want to thank you, Elvis Shea, for driving all the way to come here. And hopefully, as we continue to form, hope next time you could be the moderator here. So we hope you've been observing well. So Toride, thank you so much. Any other thing you want to say to our audience, Mr. President?
I just want to thank everyone who took the time out of their time to be here. I'm excited, for the legacy that CAMDAL is living in town, and I know that no matter what happens, whether it's from the point of view of soccer or from the point of view of the mentorship, that if CAMDAL doesn't exist anymore, the community will still be there, because we will be living through all those other teams that were created from CAMDAL, and we'll be impacting the community with people who come today to share their knowledge with Pastor Osai. And I'm just overwhelmed with the level of legacy that we are building. Thank you so much for your work, and I thank CAMDAL for the opportunity to represent them.
Yeah, and I know CAMDAL FC, although it has a lot of men, it's not just men, there are females in that club too. So
yes,
if there is a female there ever thinking of joining a vibrant club where you have your wellness and health and communication and leadership skills, and above all, involvement in the community, is none other than the Cameroon Dallas Football Club. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are just tuning in, we are about to end the program, but we were right here in Toride's studio in Arlington, Texas. And we want to thank Toride for, your graciousness to allow us come into your studio. We want to thank the speakers. Dr. Ambe connected even though he was in school. We have Reverend Martin Osai, who presented a very powerful presentation here, building up from what he did earlier. And we thank JC. You brought in some energy into the room with your topic. And we are hoping that as we plan to do another session on Saturday, August 11, I hope I'm getting my dates right. Saturday, August 11, we hope you'll be willing to come back to the program. And for our audience members, if you do want to present, this is an opportunity for you. We want to present on any and every topic useful. If it's useful for you, if you are thinking about it, come and share with us. Come on, unravel that mystery with us. And JC, I hope you get to invite us to your program. Pastor, I hope we meet at the African Think Tank. Unless someone in the audience has one last thought or a question, Elvishe, you need to say something. We can't close the program without you saying something. How do you feel about everything that has gone on today?
All right, thank you so much. I'm so glad to be in the midst of people with my like kind of mind, because everything they've discussed here, everything they've shared here, there are actually things that I've thought about. Like Pastor said, change is constant. I came from Cameroon, 2015. I was a graduate in banking and finance, but I came here change. I went to a field that was much more good and readily available if I needed a job. I wanted something that is flexible and something that is secured. I went to the healthcare field. Dr. Francis here was my teacher back home, and I'm glad I spoke to him before I went to school. I was thinking like I should do something else or do nursing. He was like, why not do nursing then? If you want to go to military, you can think about that after. After I did nursing, I don't want to go to military anymore. So you want to talk to people, like Pastor said. I just recapping, be allies, get to talk to people and get advice and see how things go. I read books a lot. I listen to books when I drive. YouTube is my friend. I listen to them. And what else will I say? I have Robinhood on my phone. I use it. I use cashback, credit card. I save. Those are things that, like I said, just like mine with you, I align with a lot of them. And mentorship is what I like to do. Sometimes I ask myself a question, like, if somebody asks me this question, what is my answer? That gives me a room to think. Like now, I'm thinking on three things. Should I invest? Should I pay off this debt? Should I pay off that debt? Which one should I do first? I have to think, and that creates a room for me that I'm working on. I'm planning. Each and everyone has a plan. I'm planning on stuff that I need to do. So setting goals is the way to go. You can't just wake up today and be like, I'm doing this thing tomorrow. It has to be planned, and you also have to be dynamic, not written on stones. I just like the whole program today, and I'm glad to be here. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Elvis reminds me of how old I am. I can't believe.
Larissa here, as she said, that if you want to come learn sewing with her, she's available. You need to see what I sew. I learned from her. I just take everything. I'm that kind of person who likes to learn a lot. I learn everything. You see, Toride sitting right here. I can sit on that bench and I have a little idea. I can sit on the keyboard. I have a little idea. On the drum, I have a little idea. In the hospital, I'm a caregiver. I just take every opportunity I have. Finance, like I said, I have a degree in banking and finance, which is something I love. And that's just how I am. Thank
And
you
this
so
guy
much.
has a sewing machine
awesome.
in his house. He has a piano in his house. He's a nurse. And when I have something to fix in my house, and he's my neighbor, by the way, I moved away from him in La Prada. He came and
He
bought a
followed.
house again near me. So it's interesting that I taught you in Form 1, and now you are like my colleague. So that's why I have to shave every morning so I look young like you. But Elvis, thank you so much. You are a great inspiration. And I see JC, you wanted to react to something Elvis said.
No, I'm just loving how versatile he is, absorbing everything. I was about to say, I'm glad you can learn sewing. I promise you, if I sit with our sister there for 2 months, I'm gonna leave like I came. My brain doesn't process that part of life. But I think it's been great, and thanks again to the Dallas CAMDAL leadership. I wanted to say, because you made me speak about Unravel a little bit, you can find Unravel on Facebook, and you can find us on YouTube as well as Instagram. So you have Unravel TV on Facebook and on YouTube. So if you just Google, you find us, as well as Zani Capital. That's just the name, azanicapital.com. You will find us. The phone number is there. The email is there. If you want to reach us, just reach us. Or if you're not sure, you can contact any of these gentlemen in the room, and they would definitely give you our contact details. But thank you so much. It's really been awesome.
Yes, thank you. And thank you for the great presentation. This was the Cameroon Dallas Football Club FC broadcasting live from Toride Studio in Arlington. And I was your moderator. My name is Francis Basebank, DNP. I'm the president of Amazing Health Partners Clinic, Garland. We provide primary care, urgent care, but the most recent acquisition we have is we do provide USCIS immigration exams, labs, and physical. Whereas I don't want this to be advertisement, it's at least good you know those who are speaking to you. If you've been seeing those ads out there, this is me live today. And we always tell the community, no matter how we know you, your privacy is always guaranteed. So thank you for the business tips you shared. I hope to benefit from it, and I hope our audience members will benefit. And Toride, thank you for having us in your studio. I hope we are going to leave the studio as clean and as organized as we found it. So, ladies and gentlemen, this brings us to the end of the program. Once more, thank you for tuning in. Toride, over to you.